Well, hello, retail traders. Say hello back to me. This is Sunday evening, and I got this wild hair up my butt to go ahead and look over the watch list for this coming week. It's going to be earnings, the earnings watch list. So I hope we're all doing good. Can you all hear me well? We're going to get this thing started. As everybody knows, I am the sneaky snake trading strategy guy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And we're going to go over the watch list. It looked to me like a pretty good watch list to go over. I'm not sure about Monday. We got Domino's Pizza, DPZ, that might be one to watch. We got MGM Resorts. This is on Monday before open, Monday morning. The Domino's Pizza's got better. I had one just the other day, actually. I was quite impressed. I had these little breadsticks on the end of the pizza where you could dip them in some kind of bread junkie. I didn't have it. Where I worked at gave me one. Well, we got after close, not much after close, I don't think, unless you see something in there you want me to go over. And we'll go over them. We got Tuesday, we got SOFI, PayPal, UPS, JetBlue, Coca-Cola, Pfizer, Caribbean Group. That ought to be a good one to watch. Spotify's on here. Well, hello, Chris. It is past your bedtime. We got Tuesday. If you see anything on this watch list on here, you let me know and I'll get it out first. We got Visa. We got Starbucks. We got Snap. We got a lot of good ones. First Solar. And then we got Humana on Wednesday morning. Caterpillar. Looks like it's going to be a good week for earnings. GE Healthcare. Then we got Wednesday after close. That's going to be a good day. Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, QCOM. And then we got LLY. That ought to be a good one for Thursday morning. CVS. We got RBLX, McDonald's. I don't know about Shake Shack. And we got Amazon Thursday. Oh man, there's after hours. Amazon, Apple, Airbnb, Reddit. That had one heck of a run, if you remember, and pulled back. I thought it was overbought for a meme stock. And we got Fubo on Friday with ExxonMobil, Wendy's. So let's start off the list here. I'm just going to kind of push this to the side. If you want to copy and paste that and see if there's anything on there you'd like me to. I'm going to go ahead and have this recorded also. So let's get it started. Let me start that recording. Hello, this is the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where we're going to talk about the watch list for this coming week. And I'm going to be putting this here in over on the side of the screen over here. I got 4 monitors to look at. I kind of went over it live. We're live right now, but I'm going to record it from here on out for you guys to go back and watch it when you need a little bit of help this week on the ones that I like. And if you see anything on here that you like, go ahead and spit it out and write it in the chat. We got Domino's, which I'll probably be looking at. We got MGM. Then Tuesday morning we got SOFI, PayPal, and UPS, and JetBlue, and Coca-Cola, and Pfizer, Caribbean Group, Spotify. Those are all going to be good ones to watch. Tuesday, we got Visa, Starbucks, Snap, First Solar. Wednesday morning, we got Humana, Caterpillar, GE Healthcare, And then Wednesday after hours is going to be a good one. Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, QCOM. Then we got Thursday morning, which is going to be a big one here. Eli Lilly. We're going to see where it is on the chart. It might be a good for. It had a good bounce, I think. We got Roblox, CVS, MasterCard, McDonald's. Someone invested in SIRI last year. Might have been this year. Someone big. If it's pulled back, it might have a good run. And then we got Amazon Thursday morning with Apple. That's going to be one. That'll be a market mover right there, Apple. Airbnb. Some of these are at probably bargain prices. Fubo Friday with Exxon Mobil and Wendy's. So we're going to go ahead and move this on over to my other page. And I've got a little watch list I'm going to start right up here. And the first one we're going to put down here is going to be DPZ. Domino's. I'm going to set this up on the weekly, which is where we're going to start on these. And I'm just going to go through like 2 or 3 different times. Look at that. That thing's sold off big time. Oh, that's not the one we're watching. Yeah, that ain't right. I was going to say that stock sold off. I'd be ready to buy it. DPZ, especially if it was Domino's. So Domino's had a little bounce last week, as you can tell. This is the weekly time frame. We bounced off the 200. We had the 200 EMA as a solid support. So that would have been a good trade right there. I'd have took that probably. Been the second bounce with a double bottom. So we're above the 9. So on Domino's Pizza, if it does decide to pull back, I'm going to say low support's going to be right off that 9 with the 2 bodies of these candles right here. Let's see if we got this right up here. Everybody hear me fine? Right around 469 for solid support. And we have a double top wick right here at around 477. Resistance to break for Domino's is going to be the body of that candle right there, that red one. For it to come very bullish, 496. So it could easily run up to 496. Now I'm a little bullish on Domino's, but we can see we've had 3 good green weeks on this with a spinning top doji right off the 9. So this thing can pull back a little bit and then bounce back up and try to break that resistance right around 496, 497. Let's just take this to the daily, see if we see anything special on it. Yeah, it's definitely a double top on the daily at 497, a little bit below that. Solid support to hold. To keep it very bullish will be right there at 484.54. That'll be a head and shoulders support level right there, if you can see it. So 496.94 to break with a 484.54 to hold. And if that doesn't hold, it'd be that 477, that previous high right there. So Domino's, and we got MGM. Now tourism might be down a little bit because the way that fat cats have been talking. I'm going to put that over here on the watch list. I'm going to try to remember to put them on the watch list. Now this one is kind of cheap right now. See, they were kind of bearish on this, on any tourism stocks, and I can see that it pulled back, but we got to break that 50 SMA on the daily before it become very bullish, right around 32.13. Now I'm just kind of rounding it off on that green line. It's that green line right there, and the 63. So somewhere right around 32 bucks. If that breaks, we'll go higher, and maybe even run it up to the 200 EMA. And if it doesn't hold, then it should easily pull back to the 9, right around 30 bucks. Now this is a little bit bearish right now, 30.42. But if with all the good earnings coming out this week, we could have we've had a little reversal in the market already. Last week was a real good week. I think the Dow was up 7 points, or the NASDAQ was up 7 points, one or the other. So MGM is going to be on our watch list, and let's just take this to the hour and see if that tells us anything different. Yeah, we got to break that resistance level. We closed at 31.67, so 32.12. If that breaks resistance, this thing could run on up to about 35. And that's going to be Monday morning. So those two are the ones that we're going to be watching Monday morning. And then Tuesday close, we got Waste Management, WM. And I don't see much going on Tuesday evening, unless you all do. Let me keep an eye on here. Good morning, I'm Sheba. So we got SOFI Tuesday morning with PayPal, UPS, JetBlue, Coca-Cola, and Pfizer. Pfizer's been kind of a funky one. And that Royal Caribbean. You know, to me, that's probably the second best cruiser right now. So let's look at SOFI. Ooh, SOFI had to break out. See, I wish I'd have saw this earlier. Some of these stocks I kind of forget about because, you know, we had that high. And then we pulled back. And I heard last year, I think it was last year or the year before, probably sometime last year, that around that 750 area, people load up and run it up. The some billionaires that's trading this stock, every time he sees that 750 or close to it, he starts loading up on the trade, and I bet he's in it right now. So just by looking at this hour, a lot of people watch SOFI. I'm not much of a watcher on it, but there's your pivot point right there, right around 1376. If that thing goes higher, you could probably run it up to 1481 to head and shoulders up here, right around 1559. You got your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. So it's got to break at 1376, and then support level is going to be the 200 on the 1 hour time frame at 1131. To go in this stock, I think that'd be a good place to jump into it at. Now, I've been trading stocks for over 21 years, so I can look at a chart pattern and say, you know, this looks decent, this looks okay, and it don't take me long to analyze a trade because I've done over a couple million charts in my time. Let me turn this mute off. There's one other thing I wanted to look at here. I should have probably looked at this before I started. /ES. Get the 1 minute. See, we had a little pullback. I was in a conversation Friday that there was a lot of puts bought. A lot of puts. Let's clean this up. You can see I traded this last week, Friday. This here is called your orb. This was Friday's orb. And there's got some conflict going on with Pakistan and India right now. Could cause a little bit of turmoil, just a little bit, for a good bounce back up. So let's take this to the 1 hour. Yeah, I don't like looking at that orb on here. Let me get another chart. That orb kind of messes my chart up a little bit. That's 20-day 1 hour right there. So we're kind of broke resistance on it, right around 22.55.20 area. I'm going to call that a pivot point, maybe a little bit lower, but definitely that spot right there. With low support back down here off the 200. And you got a gap right in here. You said gap. So that's going to be your support level. You're going to learn a lot by just watching me chart what I see in a fast moment. I look for gaps like that for a solid support. That'll be a triple bottom right off the 200. So if it gets down to 53.80 this week, that'll be a good place to probably jump in this trade. And resistance, if we could stay above 55.18.29, we can run it up to this next gap resistance right here. See that gap right in there? Right around 55.83. But we had a good run last week, as you can tell on the /ES. So it could consolidate and pull back a little bit and then bounce on up and try to break this resistance this coming week. That 55.83. So we'll put that on here. I want to be able to look at that Monday and see if I was right. Next one, we got PayPal. PayPal broke resistance last week. So we got to try to find the first support, and that's this previous high right here. And you can see that we got a support channel, these triple bottom right here. So we're going to put that as the low. That's a triple bottom. And then we got the resistance support, which is this previous high right here. If we can hold that 65 and run it up, it'll go higher. If not, this thing could pull back and retest this triple bottom at 60, 64, 63, 66. And if that doesn't hold, then it's going to drop down and hit that 200 EMA on the 1 hour. Let's look at the daily and see if I recognize anything on the daily. See, the daily looks real good. We got what you call let me see here. I'm going to put a little overhead resistance line on this right here from where that gap started. See that gap? That's like a pivot point right there. And run it to this next body down here. And that'll be your low support right on the bottom of that channel. This is a little head and shoulders right here. So you got your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and then we broke out on that third time. So it can pull back and hit 60 and be a very strong buy. In fact, it's kind of choppy. You see what happened here? So I'm just going to put an alert just right on the bottom of that candle right there where that other gap is. We put the alert there now. Hope everybody had a great weekend this weekend. Right around 61, 66. I'm going to raise that alert up just a little bit. Get it above that 61 so I can be alerted before we hit it. PayPal, with the talk of recession and the slowing of the economy, which we didn't see that much in the earnings. You know, all the numbers were good. And I was listening to Becky Quick the other day, and she says the market's always looking forward. And I'm going, are you people nuts? They've been wrong all the time. And, you know, when she comes out and says the market's a forward thinker, and I'm going, no, I don't think so. Not this day and age. We're headline driven right now. Whatever the headlines are, that's the way the market's going to be. Now, Trump got with what's his name, Lazinski or whatever his name from Ukraine. Was talking peace, and he's threatening to bash Russia in the top of the head if they don't stop going over there and bombing Ukraine citizens. So he's trying to broker some peace so we can stop that war, stop that innocent death, because Russia just could annihilate them if they wanted to. So that could be a positive thing for the market. Right around 66.76 for PayPal would be right on that double bottom right there. I think that would be a good spot to try to break, with support being off the 21 here on the daily, right around 63.66 to hold, and then a strong buy at 62. So we got PayPal, we got UPS. That's another good one. I like UPS. FedEx, I think the fat cats like it a little bit better. Look at that. Dude, that's ugly. That's ugly. We got a fallen wedge right here, fallen flag. And this could be, this could be time for it to break out. It's just not the right time if sales, I don't know. Trust Securities has a price target of 130. We got tariff chaos, could derail tech earnings frenzy this week from Kramer. This is oversold. We got an ascending triangle, almost a symmetrical flag down here at the bottom. So this thing could easily break out to the upside. And I'm going to put $100 right there. That's going to be our resistance to break. Now see, this is kind of like an ascending triangle. You got that body right there. You got that wick. You got that wick there. So that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it an ascending triangle. Resistance is going to be right there at 99.75. Right about $100. If we can maintain 100 and move up, this thing's going to really fly to about 106. And if it doesn't hold, it'll be at the bottom of that candle. Now I'm using the daily here. I think that's all I need to look at. But that's an ascending triangle, and that could be bullish. Like I said, chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And we've had nothing but higher lows in the last week and 2 days. So this thing could start to bounce around a little bit, and then finally just boom. Real nice break past that 21 EMA, right around 171. I'd keep a good eye on UPS. And we got JetBlue. Earnings were good on airlines. But hell, you ever look at the tickets? They're not cheap. Some resorts have kind of come down now because I think they're going to be desperate. They're kind of worried some of these airlines couldn't give no forecast. And I'm going, if you got a CEO that can't give a forecast because they're worried about the tariffs, so I don't know about that. I'm kind of, this thing's pulled back pretty hard too. See, they're worried about sales, and watch them come out with good earnings. Now this is cheap, so we're got to look at it like a penny stock. Stock advances 5%, outperforms competitors. On the 23rd, JetBlue Airways Corporation stock advances 5.7%, which ain't crap when it's that cheap. President Trump, tariffs against China. JetBlue adds redemption benefits to Japan Airlines partnership. Yeah, this could be the year for JetBlue. So let's mark this at 417, 416. Well, got to get the price line. Are you sticking with me here, or are you going to bed? I'm trying to make it short and sweet. I want to get to those main ones here real fast. 414, 416, resistance to break, and support to hold right around 359. I used to trade pennies. I'm probably one of the best penny traders out there when it comes to charting them. So we're going to break we got to break the 417. This thing can bounce up to probably around 463. It's that bottom right over here. And that'll be your pivot point. I'm here, Jake Paul. I'm here. I'm here. So the next earnings. Did I get JetBlue on here? Yep. Coca-Cola. KO. Anybody been KO'd before? Oh, not HO. KO. Coca-Cola already looks like it's too high priced. So let's clear this out. These lines right here are patterns that I have programmed in this computer. You can see we had a little flag going to the upside and we pulled back, so I'm going to extend this out if I can. No, but we're going to put a trend line on it. Actually, mine's probably different. Yeah, we'll go from there. Mine are more accurate than theirs. So we're going to put a price line on this. See this top right here? We're going to try to find the equilibrium right there where it matches up the most and bring it all the way across. And we're going to start off with I think we're going to do let's do the bodies right there. So that $72 is a very important number. And we closed it almost right at 72. So if this thing pulls back, the bottom of this channel right here, right around 70.41 is going to be your support. That's called a Darvis box right there. And you can see we've been in that Darvis box. And that's right off that 50 SMA. So that's kind of like a confirmation. And we're going to put an alert right off that 50 SMA. Just a little bit above it. And that's at 70.83. So jot that number down for Coca-Cola. 70.83 to hold if it doesn't go ahead and break out this week. Now, we are kind of up from the bottom of the 200 EMA. That'd been a great buy, especially Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a popular stock and everybody's got it in their portfolio. The fat cats do. It's a Warren Buffett trade. He's been in it forever. So we're going to try to hold at 70.41 with a 70.83 first support. Resistance this week, $72. And if we can build above 72, we'll probably take it to 73.21. That double top right there, that's called a head and shoulders. There's your head. So we come up and we create a right shoulder. And JetBlue, JB, did we do that one already? Yep. Pfizer, PFE. PFE. Let's clean this baby up. This thing's been oversold. It's going to have its day. This is one of them stocks I think is going to have its day. And right now it's cheap. It should be sitting right above 24.70. So that's where we're going to put resistance. I think this thing is going to break out. Going to run up to 24.70 this week and break at 21 there at 23.12. And I don't think that's too hard to say. With support right around 22 bucks to hold. Yep, I'm pretty sure about that. If we can break that 21, I think we'll fill this gap easily and come up and touch the bottom of that channel right there, right around 24.70. It's time to move. It's time to move. We've had 2 good weeks of running. All it's got to do is break that 21, get good earnings, and boom. And that's going to be Tuesday morning. And then we got RCL. I'd keep that one on watch at Pfizer. I know it looks like a piece of shit, but that's a little bullish look right there. And we got RCL here. Oh God, look, what's that? That's a mess. Clean that up. Now, I don't like all them lines on there too much. Kind of hard on the eyes. Well, this is a choppy one. I don't know what to think about it. It's definitely oversold. I think they're just worried about, I mean, everything's sold off here in the last 3 months. We had that real good Trump run, and then they pulled back. So we're going to say we got to break that 50 SMA right around 216, 216.34. And hold the gap right there at 200, 237. We got a gap in here too. But we're going to go with the 50. RCL. Then Spotify, SPOT. Spotify's had a run already. It should pull back some. Definitely had a nice little bounce. And we got a double top resistance right here. So it'd have to hold 617.38. I think it's too high. I think we need to pull this back a little bit, come to reality right around 578. And if that holds, you got that little channel to play in. We got a triple top right here. And we did break it. And if it does feel bullish and earnings are great, earnings might already be priced in. 644.89. I think it's going to pull back. I really do. 578.70. Did I get spot on here? No. The next one, we'll move on to Visa. That's going to be Tuesday morning. I got to hurry up, shoot through these. So Visa, we got a 1, 2, 3 resistance to break. Take the top of the body of that candle right there. Run it to the top of that. So that 50 SMA is going to be 340. That's going to be your resistance to break. And support is going to be the bottom of that channel right there. Right around 327. If that holds, we'll stay in here this coming week and try to break that triple top. But if we hit the triple top, it should pull back. Maybe find a pivot point right around there. 332.23 or 327.12 and hold. And that's V. And the next one, we'll move to Microsoft. And now we're getting into the good stuff. So if you stuck around to here, let's get real. We got Microsoft, MSFT. This one's been a little bit oversold. Let's clean it up. We called this one out last week. We had a nice little pop off that support level. Now see, they're using the wick, these chart pattern guys. I use the bodies. So I come in here like this, and I'll go from that body right there to that body right there. Now if we extend this wick out, it almost matches up to that. So that's your solid support. And we've had a good little breakout right here, and a nice little run up to the 63. So that's going to be your hard resistance to break. Right around 391.44. And if that thing breaks out, moves on up, you've got this triple top up here at 395.27. 395.37. I'd keep a good eye out on this one here, with the support level being off that 50 SMA at 387.35 to keep the thing bullish. If that doesn't hold, it can easily drop down to this other candle where you had this body here, and this body right here. There's not too many people out there that chart like I do. So if you're watching this, you're going to learn a lot. 380.53 will be your solid support. 380.53. Now, if you're not jotting this on paper, you can always come back and watch the video. But I would be watching Microsoft this week. Now, do I have that on here? Yes. The next one is going to be the one that's going to be the market maker for this coming week. Now, as you know, Meta was in court last week. Freaking European glutes over there trying to sue his ass. And this is just poised for a breakout. They've got cash. I still think it's way overbought, but we've had one good pullback. If you look at what I mean by overbought, 3 years ago this was at $88 and it ran all the way to $740. So I'm going to show you why I think we're at a support. I want you to pay special attention to this. Take your trend line, run it from that body right there, well, from that body right there, this is the weekly, to that body right there. See how we pulled back? That's called a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. If you count to 3, you can trade with me. If you can count to 4, you might make a little bit more. You want to use each one of these here as resistance levels. So this one here, actually maybe that bottom right there, that body right there, be like a little resistance channel. I'm going to do what you call force field resistance. I made that up. So it could kind of bounce around in that little channel right there on the top of the body of that candle, in the bottom part of this one right here, or even break out a little bit. But once it breaks this resistance right here, it could easily run up to 588 this coming week. I'm really liking Meta. The fact that you're bouncing off the 1, 2, 3 is I called this out last week. I said, this court thing's going to come to an end. He's going to pay the frickin' fine, and then we're going to have a bounce. It's going to bounce back up. In the last month, we've been playing in this channel. It's called a Darvis box. That's a horizontal flag, which means it could be consolidating, waiting for its next move to the upside. And each one of these levels is going to be a resistance. One's going to be right there on the body of that candle. And the next one's going to be right above there. So I'd keep a real good eye on this one here. We're going to take this to the hour and see if I see anything different on the hour. And if it does kind of pull back a little bit, you see how volatile it was and we had it going to court. And then now, it's starting to settle. So we did have a bounce off it already. It could easily come, well, shoot. I like this spot right here too. If it does pull back, 530 to hold. 530 to hold on Meta. And this is going to be the market maker. This will be a catalyst. They'll probably look at advertising and say people are still paying for advertising, like Google. Google had good earnings off its advertisement, and they were shocked. And that's part of the reason why we had a good run this week. So if Meta verifies that, we could easily start to bounce back on up here. But we've had a pretty good run off of it already. I thought it was cheap, under $500. I said to the room, I told the room, I said, man, this thing's, it almost pulled back to that 1, 2, 3. I wish I'd have traded it. But I regret not, because I could have made some pretty good money on that trade. Right now, we're kind of going to fumble around and see if we can break this shadow here. And that's going to be right around, write these on paper. $562. And if we hold 540, that'll be a good deal for this stock right now. 540 and 562 is going to be the channel. I'm hoping we can build a Darvis box there, or have a strong buy down here at 530. A real strong buy off the 200 at 516. But if we can hold 530 this week, I think it'll run back on up. I'm liking Meta a lot. Then I want to make sure I put that on here, because I'm going to remember it. Meta, and then we got Hood. Robin Hood has been a big bull. Robin Hood. Did I get Hood on here? Yep. Is Meta on here? Yep. Robin Hood with Bitcoin has been a runner. This one here look at the price on this thing where it was. $66.91, and it pulled all the way back to $28. That was a bargain. That was a bargain. I thought it was overpriced. So I've had this in here for a long time. And I'm going to clean this. Well, I want to leave this on here. Let's look at a different time frame here. 4 hour. Support channel, we're above it. Resistance is going to be $52 this coming week. I'm going to stick with what I got on here already, with a strong buy down here off this triple top breakout at 45.46. Hood ought to be on your watch list this coming week. 45.39, somewhere in that area. If that can hold, that'd be fine. And if it doesn't, 43.44, 43.43. And QCOM. I'll come back and I'll watch some of these videos, some of these stuff that I've called out here, just to kind of double check. Where are you, QCOM? Man, there's a lot of crap on here. Overflagged. So we're going to use a 63. This is a fallen wedge, kind of a descending flag, and you see it descended and it's came up, so that bottom of that descending flag is going to be resistance to break. Excuse me. 150.33 is going to be your resistance to break. That'll be the bottom of that descending triangle. And we're going to take that triangle and extend it on down, and it should match up right about in there. Yeah. So that's a major resistance to break. 150.33. If that can do that, and we can break that, I think we can swing this up and hit the 200 EMA. Right around 160. 160. So 150 to break and run it up 10 bucks. To hold, 139. You see that it's going to go 10 bucks either way. Right, that's a pivot point. The bottom of that descending flag right there. Can you see it? You see what I'm talking about? And then it dipped on down, it bounced on up, so it's got to break that. And that's what I call a hard resistance. And if it can break that, then that'll now become support. So I wouldn't be in no hurry to take this trade, but if we start to break the 150, and we do, and it comes back and retests the 150, then I'll know for sure that this thing's going to go ahead and run on up to 160. That's QCOM. I liking it. So that's it for Wednesday. Then we got Lilly. This one here is going to be a market maker. You know, healthcare has been kind of hurting here lately, but Lilly hasn't. Lilly had a great bounce. I traded this one last week. We broke the 200 SMA right there, so that now becomes solid support. You got a head and shoulders right here, so that's going to be our trend line. You take and run that trend line right there to that next shoulder right there, and that now becomes support. So you want to set an alert right above that support line. And type in head and shoulders. And that'll come up on my alert system. And I'll know that head and shoulders is going to be a solid support. Actually, I'm going to pull it up to that double top. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit, because it could stop there, the body of that candle. And that's right around 870. And then I'm going to put a price line right here to keep it bullish. Triple top breakout. So anywhere between 870 and 879, that'll keep this stock very bullish. And then it'll run on up and find resistance at 902. Now this has had a real good bounce already. You know, I was spitting this out last week when it was cheap. It's up a couple $100, and it had a big bounce here on some news, probably some fat drug loss news or something. So, I mean, we're at resistance levels right now. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit, but we got earnings coming out, and it could easily run up to 902. I really like Lilly. And we got RBLX RBLX. That's another one we got to watch out for. We got some good earnings this week. Yeah, see RBLX bounced off the 200. And I called these 200s out a couple weeks ago. If you want to go back and look at the indice video I did a couple weeks ago, go back and watch that one. You'll learn a lot. I want to talk about the SPY, the SPX, the IWM, and the QQQ. So I got 68.47 to break. We're definitely at a head and shoulders right here right now. And that's right around 67.27. So I think this is going to pull back some this week. And if it holds $62, that's where I'd want to take this trade. And that's RBLX. And we got CVS, another good one. We got Amazon coming up too. There's some good earnings this week. It's all about the earnings, I think, this week. I really do. I think that's what you're going to hear about. So we got a 1, 2, 3 here, support level on CVS to hold. You got that huge gap. So somewhere right around in here, right on the bottom right there. No. I want to set, well, first I'll put a price line there. Then I want to set an alert right above it. You never want to set your alert on where you think it's going to hit. You want to set that alert above it so you can be alerted to it. I think that'll be a strong buy. Even around 63.50, that thing just might bounce. So I'm going to raise that up just a little bit more, because I'd hate to miss that flag right there. And it hit this bottom right here instead. Then see where it did here? See this bottom right here? Hit, 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 hit. Resistance couldn't break. Hit. We came down and hit it there, and we hit it off the 63. So that could be a solid buy. I even want to raise it up a little bit more. I'm kind of bullish on this one here, CVS. I'd like to see it pull back some and then take it. Not take it and run it up, but have it pull back a little bit and take it. Now, did I get that on here? Let's put sure I got it on here. And then we got MA MasterCard. Some of these I probably didn't get on here like I should have. Credit card debt is at its all-time highs. Discover sucks. Their interest rates are higher than all the others. So we got a couple gaps in here. We got a gap right there for the first support. Then we got the bottom support right there at 519, 520, with a resistance to break at the 50. And that's pretty simple. Pretty simple chart. I like to see it pull back and hit 520. So 521.32 is going to be my alert. And that's going to be MasterCard. And we got Siri. And some big fat investor got a hold of this one here and bought the dip. I don't know if it's Aikman or... $27? Lightning round. Siri is not a serious stock. That made you want to buy it. So we did bounce off the bottom here. He's probably right. It's probably not a serious stock. I quit subscribing to him. I never, I listen to CDs and my YouTube channel. So we got a resistance to break already. So it's definitely the 63. If we run up to 22.52, that's going to be your hard resistance. Support is going to be down here in this gap, right around 21, and that's got to hold. So I don't know. I probably won't trade it. Probably not. McDonald's is going to have a lot of good stocks this week. Here's another one that's already had a good run. I'm not much of a McDonald's stock guy, so I'm going to say 303 is your solid support. And your first support's going to be right around 311. If that doesn't hold, we'll drop down. So that's a major support level. 311.82. Resistance to break, 321. Earnings on Thursday morning. Then we got the big daddy, Amazon. $36,000 million in volume Friday. This one here kind of got oversold. We broke the channel right here. Started to become bullish. So your next resistance is going to be the bottom of that flag right there. Right around 197.34 this coming week. Jot it down. I bet you we see it. 197.34 with support right at 187.53 and then strong buy at 180. Once you get them lines on there, you can kind of see it. So 180 to get in it. Stay bullish, 187.53. Long between 194.38 and 197.34. This will be a good one to watch this coming week. Amazon. Then Apple is going to be the market maker. So we got a few good market makers. Apple's going to be one of them. Apple kind of got oversold down to 170 for a double bottom on the yearly. And let's clean this up. Apple's going to be a good one to watch. When Apple moves, the SPY and the SPX move. And we stopped right at a pivot point at 209.32. We closed at 209.28. So if that breaks, that now becomes a solid support, and we want it to hold that 209. If not, we'll have a sharp drop to 202 and then run back up to 209 and break it and run it up easily to 216 this coming week. Easily. I'm saying we're going to break it. Now, Apple and China. See, that's why it's sold off, China. So they're going to build a lot of their iPhones in India now. A lot. So they're counting on India to be, and there's a lot of smart people in India. So I think he's doing good by getting out of China and moving his manufacturing around because, China's just not a pure capitalist. So we get the 216 this coming week. I'm gonna swear to God that we're gonna hit that. Apple. And Airbnb, well, with recession talk, this is probably pulled back some. It'd be a good buy to start trading. It did pull back quite a bit. It had a yearly low, in fact, and we've already bounced up some. Now, I did the Fibonacci's on this already, but I'm going to take them off because I don't like where I put them. I had to put them there for a reason, but I can't tell you why. So Airbnb, kind of choppy right in here somewhere. So I'm just going to say the 21 and the 9. Right around 117 to 118. If 118 holds, we stay bullish. Run it up to the 63, then up to the 50, and then long to the 200, around 130 for a swing. But we'd have to pull it back to the 9 to get in it. Just a little under 117. So Airbnb and Reddit. Now Reddit, this is one I wish I'd have bought the put on. Very pissed off I didn't do it. This had just way too much. You can hear me talk sometimes and I say way too much. Too much of a run. I mean, look at this. 3 years. There's no reason why this stock should have ran that much. From 37 bucks from the listing of the IPO all the way up to 230 bucks. I mean, that's just plumb nuts. I'd rather see it pull back one more time, not break the 9. So the 9's going to be our, let's get this out of here. I traded this a while back. I still think it's had a good pullback. So this is something you'd want to put the Fibonacci on. And run it up to the 50% mark, because we did kind of get oversold on it if you were looking at the Fibonacci area. But we've already bounced up off that there. So the 50 would be your solid resistance to break. And that's right around the 21. So that's where we're going to put that. Around 129.73, with your first support being right here at 93.41. Or this right here, this 38% from the bottom, 109, 110. If it holds 110, it can run back up and hit the 9. But the 9 is going to be used as a hard resistance right now on the weekly time frame. And what was that? Do I got Reddit on here? Let me put it on here. I want to watch this one this week. And we have Fubo. Kind of a long watch list. Sorry about that. I know Chris is probably already in bed. Same here. We got the 9 as resistance. So Fubo, and we got the wicks. Let's pull this up to the daily. We got the gap, so I'm going to get rid of that and move it up to there. $331. 331 breaks. We can run this back up to this here triple bottom at 361. Then we got a big Darvis box right in here at 419. with your solid support being the 200 at 227 if it decides to pull back. And the 200 EMA would be the bottom confirmation of a triple bottom right there at 258. So I don't know. Fubo is an iffy one. And then the last one, there's two of them actually. The oil, ExxonMobil and Chevron. So we'll do two more. If we get into it with Iraq, we could have a problem with oil and this thing could bounce up. It already has. I mean Iran. So support right around 105. See that? That back to 105, and resistance is right here at 112. So keep that in mind. That's going to be your channel. And if we get into it with Iran, it can easily run back to 120. That's XOM. And then CVX will be the last one. Then I can rest my throat and go to bed. Past my bedtime too. So we got CVX. It's definitely pulled back. And this has been on a little bitty rebound. So resistance to break right here. You got that double bottom there, that triple bottom at 140.84 with a solid support right at 134.97. And if we can break 140.84, it can run up to your next resistance level, which is kind of hard to say. I'm just going to say the 21 on the daily, 143. But this looks like a J hook. Usually when you see J hook, it'll create the hook. It'll run up and hit that 21 and then bounce around a little bit and then take off. See how bad it jumped down? It shouldn't have pulled back like that. So, you know, it must have been something in the news, or they're just waiting to get back in it and look for a better deal. And that's it. How many people stuck around? 2! Okay. Well, I'm going to get on out of here. You can always come back and watch this recording. I'll change the title to it and type in the earnings and put a new little picture on it that'll say earnings on it. Everybody have a safe week this coming week. We got a lot of good earnings coming out. I think it's going to be the reason for the market to bounce or to hold back and consolidate. It's going to be all about the earnings. You're welcome, Sheba. And we're going to call it quits. This is a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being the now. And come back and watch this earnings thing. I'm going to go ahead and download it. And it'll be under videos and it'll also be under live. Just go to the latest video and you'll see it there. The shorter version of it. Have a great one.